days are going to be hard. And on those days, we have to encourage ourselves. And I think no matter how great your best friend is or how skilled your therapist is, it's definitely important to know how to encourage yourself because you are always with you. Yes. So I'm making this video to encourage myself. Today was a hard day. It's frustrating. Learning things can be frustrating for sure. Um, and my brain just wasn't grasping things today. And then I also had some pretty work. Work can be frustrating because when people don't do their job, then I can't do my job. And I'm like, I'm not asking you to do anything but your job. So please do your job. And so today was frustrating. Um, Today was annoying. And I'm just like, okay, I had a whole nother video planned out. I was going to talk about, I can't even remember what I was going to talk about now, but I was going to talk about something else. And I was like, no, I need to encourage myself. And so, what do I want to say? Honestly, I don't know. I just know like it won't always be hard, this hard. It might be, hopefully, if I'm learning and growing, then it'll be a new level of hard, but hopefully it won't always be this hard. I remember when I lived in Colombia in 2019 and I was learning Spanish and I had a tutor and we were meeting up, I want to say 3 times a week, and my head would be banging. It would be banging so hard. And I'm like, why am I getting headaches learning Spanish? And it was because my friend, who's all into the neural stuff, was like, your brain is making new pathways. And so, yeah, your brain gets fatigued. And I think that's what's happening here because, you know, I did tech work, stepped away for probably about a year and a half now, and I'm getting back into it. Things are constantly upgrading and changing, which is great. But reacclimating myself and learning the new stuff, my brain is like making new pathways. And so it's taking me a little bit of time to get things. And then also, the struggle you already know I have is sleeping well. So I think that's part of it too. But yeah, reminding myself, well, first of all, breathing. Breathing has helped me tremendously, right? Breathing in 4 counts, breathing out 4 counts, or 4 by 4 is breathing in 4 counts, holding 4 counts, breathing out 4 counts, and then holding 4 counts. Breathing helps a lot because it just does. I don't know what that's about. I have a few friends who are in the breath work. I'm sure they can explain it beautifully. I don't know why it works or how it works. I just know it does work. So I just remind myself, I just literally say out loud, breathe, Raven, breathe, just breathe, right? And I just do that. I breathe in, I breathe out, and allow myself to calm down. And then what I'm actually doing now is reminding myself, like, I've been through hard things, I've done hard things before. I think part of my, I want to say optimistic, but maybe it's my fairy tale upbringing, right? Because I was a Disney kid. I grew up in that age where Disney was all the rage and fairy tales were abundant. And I think my fairy tale self feels like one day I'll have my happy ending. Not like, oh, I get rescued by a prince and have a happily ever after, which is fine. You know, I prefer not to have fire breathing dragons around me and swords near my face. But um I think my fairy tale brain thinks one day I'll make it and then things will be easy and life will be easy. And what life constantly reminds me over and over again is it doesn't get easy. As soon as you conquer one set of problems, you get another set of problems. And I've heard a quote, I can't remember what the quote is. It talks about don't ask for life to be easy, ask to be stronger. So something about me being stronger to handle the things that are hard, right? And I get that. I'm not opposed to that. Me working out on a regular basis now, I am getting stronger and it feels good to be stronger and it feels good to feel to have more balance. It feels good when I catch myself, when I might trip on something and would usually fall. It feels great to catch myself. It feels good to be standing on the train and I'm holding myself and I'm able to hold myself up even when the car is packed. I remember being in Bangkok last month and the car was packed and I was in the middle. There was nothing to hold on to. And I just had to plant my feet, engage my core and just stand there in the midst of all these people. And when the car would jerk to a stop or take off, I had to brace myself so I didn't fall onto people. And I was able to do that because of my training. And so I understand getting stronger. But like I said, I just think I wish it would get easier too. I wish life would get easier. I wish why like Lord, why do we have to have upgrades and problems? Right? I conquered this level of problems. Now I gotta have a new set of problems. Like even in video games, you eventually end. It eventually ends and it's over. You've conquered everything, and it feels like this is a never-ending player level game. How are games now? By the way, I have no idea. I haven't played a video game in so long. Do video games have endings, or is it just non-ending, like scrolling on TikTok? TikTok never ends. You never get to the end of it. They might give you a reminder here and there about, hey, I see you've been scrolling too long, but the content never ends. And I feel like, yeah, real life is TikTok. It just never ends. It never ends. Something else happens. Something else. It's like I'm having a great day, and then something happens, and I'm like, okay, yes. Um, but to encourage myself. Sorry about that. Got off on a little tangent. Encouraging myself, reminding myself that I have overcome hard things in the past. Right. So if I take it back to the very beginning, I learned how to walk. I learned how to crawl. I learned how to sit up. I learned how to turn over. I learned how to crawl. I learned how to walk. I learned how to run. I've learned how to ride a bike. I've learned some Spanish. I know enough to get to the restroom and order food. That's so I'm laughing at myself because I'm like, girl, what? I digress. Um, I've learned biology. I've learned calculus too. I've learned physics. I've learned fraud investigation. I've learned social media marketing. I've learned project management and team management. And I've learned how to tie my shoes. And I've learned how to drive next to semi trucks. I thought I would never be able to do that. It used to scare me. It used to scare me so much. What else? I've learned how to travel by myself. I've learned how to navigate airports and navigate landing in a new place where you don't know anyone and your phone doesn't have signal. I've learned how to problem solve on the fly. I've learned how to, I've learned hard things. And so I'm just reminding myself that, okay, this is the new, latest, and greatest hard thing you're learning. And if you've learned all of that, which when you started was hard, then you can learn this too. I even learned, remember the video I showed you yesterday about the diamond painting and how the very first one I did was way harder than it needs to be because I wasn't using the tools properly. I literally made it harder for myself. Like it's already hard enough keeping up with all those little bitty pieces and getting them all in place and line, right? But then I made it harder for myself because I wasn't using the tool that came with it to actually put it together. So, yes, I can do hard things. I have done hard things. That's just a few of the hard things I've done. And so remembering that, reminding myself, I've done hard things before. I can get through this. I think too, as you can see, obviously, I am thinking about this as I'm talking. But I think too, Raven, if I may talk to you directly, when you get frustrated, it's probably best to just stop what you're doing, set it down for a while and come back to it. You can go take a walk, probably go eat something and sleep because that's what you be that's what you be needed. Or drink water. Drink water, eat something, and take a nap. And then come back to it refreshed. Because when you're tired and hungry and dehydrated, you're not setting your brain up for success. You know, you need a lot of brain power when tackling hard things or just new things, right? Because you're making those new pathways in the brain. So yes. Okay, so where are we? That's number three, right? I think. First thing is to breathe. Okay, this is gonna be my little checklist, and I'm sharing it with you. You can use it if you want, and better yet, if you got things to add to it, let me know in the comments. But number one, and the number one, the first step in encouraging yourself, especially when you're having a hard day, is to breathe. Breathe in for four, hold for four, breathe out for four, hold for four. Repeat. Okay. Number two is to remind yourself that you've done hard things, which means you can do hard things again. Yeah. Yeah. You've been frustrated before, you've overcome frustration before, you can do it again. That's the good things about being a human being is that once you get through something, it becomes a reference point for your brain like, oh, I've dealt with something like this before. I got through that. I can get through this. Yes. And then number three is, especially in the moment when you're frustrated, annoyed, irritated, about to crash out, especially when you're about to crash out crying and and punching the air. I didn't get to the punch the air part today, but I did get to the crying part. Then step, put it down, whatever you're doing, wherever you are, step away from it. Even if it's just you going over something in your head, stop the thoughts, step away from it, drink something, eat something, take a rest. One of those or all three, and then come back to it when you're refreshed, where your brain has had rest and fueling and can look at the problem with a new perspective, a new light, a new vigor. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, I'm sure there's more steps. But those three steps right there, that's enough for me today. I feel encouraged. I do. I feel encouraged. I feel better because I wasn't feel great when I first started recording this. So thank you for sitting here on my little talking to myself session. If I owe you some money, just send me an invoice for this little mini therapy session, okay? But I hope you have a good day. And like I said, if you have anything that you think would work well with this list, any other steps or things you do, I would love to hear it. Definitely tell me how you encourage yourself and how you deal with frustrating or hard days. I want to know. All right. Talk to you later. Ciao.